You're listening to the Small Business Accelerator podcast, accelerating success, one founder at a time.
With your hosts, Roger Bryant and Sarah Wilson.
We support small business owners, the little guys. We're here to help you win in today's landscape.
Join us each week as we reveal powerful strategies for small business owners that save you time and money.
Because we believe every small business owner should have access to Fortune 500 style strategies without breaking the bank.
Subscribe now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to accelerate your small business success. Welcome back, listeners. Looks like we're diving into some really cool stuff today based on what you sent over.
Yeah, this is great.
We've got escape the discount trap, automate your value communication, and your notes from that Automations Made Easy course.
Yes.
So clearly you're thinking about how to boost your business,
Yeah.
Make things run smoother, and probably, free up some time for yourself in the process.
For sure.
So we'll be ready for a deep dive to uncover some strategies to make all that happen.
Absolutely. I'm excited to jump in. And what really stands out to me about these sources is that they don't just focus on quick tips or tactics.
Wrong.
They connect the dots between this idea of, discounting or maybe over discounting and the bigger picture, your brand's value and the whole customer experience. It's about building something sustainable, attracting the right customer, the ones who genuinely value what you offer.
Okay, yeah. You hit on a really important point, avoiding that discount trap.
It's a big one.
Can you, for those who might not be familiar with the term, just break it down for us? What is this trap and why should our listener care?
So the discount trap, it's basically, it's a slippery slope that so many businesses fall into.
Yeah.
You start offering discounts, right, to get those sales up.
Feels good in the moment, right?
Yeah. Short term, it's woohoo.
Yeah.
But over time, it can create this this dangerous cycle.
I see.
You end up relying on those discounts just to kind of keep your head above water.
So instead of building something really solid, you're kind of hooked on those quick sales, even if it means less profit in the long run.
Exactly. It's like building your house on a foundation of sand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you might see some initial, success.
Right.
But eventually that foundation, it's going to crumble.
Yeah.
And what happens is those constant discounts, they eat away at your profits. They train customers to only expect lower prices.
Oh, wow.
And then that diminishes your brand value.
It's like you're telling them your product isn't worth the full price.
Right. This is only worth it if it's on sale.
I get it. Now, the PDF actually uses two interesting terms to describe this: specificity and scarcity.
Yeah, those are great points.
I'm curious to get your take on how those tie into the whole discount trap thing.
Okay, well, specificity, right? It's all about what sets your offering apart, what makes you unique. What are those features, those benefits that only you can provide?
Yeah.
When you're constantly on sale, you kind of lose that edge, that, differentiation.
You become a commodity almost.
Yeah, just another thing on sale, not a special solution.
In scarcity, that plays a role too, right?
Yeah.
If something's always available at a discount, it loses that aura of exclusivity.
Exactly.
That sense of value where people want to grab it before it's gone.
Think about limited edition items, or those exclusive product launches that get everyone buzzing.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the reason we love those is that they're not readily available all the time.
Makes sense.
Scarcity creates that urgency, that desire. It's I got to get this before it's gone.
I had to be part of this.
Exactly. But when you're always discounting, you strip that away. What you're left with, well, it just feels ordinary.
Yeah, no longer special.
Right.
So it seems like the more you discount, the less your stuff seems worth. And you end up attracting bargain hunters instead of, those loyal customers who see the real value.
Yeah, you get people who are just chasing the deal.
Right.
Not the value. And it becomes a race to the bottom. You're constantly trying to undercut everyone else, sacrificing your profits. And honestly, that can lead to burnout.
That makes sense. So if we want to steer clear of this discount trap, what should we be focusing on? What's the alternative?
So the key is to shift your mindset. Move away from discounts and toward what we call value communication. So instead of relying on price cuts to lure people in, you need to articulate the unique value your product or service brings. Ask yourself, why should someone choose me even if it costs a bit more?
That's such a good point. And the PDF actually gives a really good example of this with Caterpillar.
Oh, yeah, they're a classic example.
They've managed to avoid that trap by really understanding their audience.
Deeply.
Yeah, and they've built marketing campaigns that speak directly to their needs and values.
They've gone beyond just selling equipment.
Right.
They're selling solutions, you know? They're highlighting the durability, the reliability, that long-term value that their products bring. And that resonates with their market, you know, construction and industrial professionals,
Yeah.
people who need equipment that can handle tough conditions. They're not looking for a cheap fix.
They want the best.
Exactly. They're investing in long-term value.
That makes so much sense. But for our listener who might be thinking, okay, value communication, got it. But how do I actually do that?
Right. It's got to be practical.
Yeah, what guidance can we offer?
Well, that's where automation can play a huge role. And this is where your other source, Automations Made Easy, comes in.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Because both sources really highlight that power of automation,
Yeah.
not just for, saving time,
Right.
but for actually elevating your brand, getting out of that discount trap.
Working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
And automation's key for escaping that trap because it allows you to send personalized messages at scale, reaching the right people with the right message at the right time without, always resorting to those discounts.
Now, this automation's made easy because it gives some really cool real-world examples of how this can work, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really intrigued by the idea of setting up these systems that automatically welcome new customers with personalized messages.
Oh, absolutely. Like a virtual handshake, right?
Yeah.
So imagine, new customers get this tailored message that highlights the benefits they'll get or addresses their specific needs.
That's so much better than a generic welcome.
Oh, for sure. Or think about, automating answers to those frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
Saves you a ton of time, right?
Yeah.
And it gives your customers valuable info.
Without you having to be there for every single question.
Exactly. It's like having a tireless assistant.
Working around the clock.
Yep. Making sure each customer feels seen and valued.
Okay, that's amazing. And it frees you up to focus on the bigger picture stuff.
Exactly.
So, speaking of the bigger picture, let's dive into some of those specific strategies the sources offer for escaping the discount trap and building a business that really thrives, one that's built on genuine value.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it. It's amazing how both sources provide these practical strategies, like a toolbox for escaping that discount trap.
I was thinking the same thing. It's like they work together,
Right. The PDF gives you the big picture.
the framework.
Yeah. And Automations Made Easy dives into how to actually put it all into practice.
Okay, so let's explore some of these strategies, shall we?
Let's do it.
I'm super intrigued by this idea of A/B testing for promotions.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It just seems like a really data-driven way to figure out what actually works with customers.
It takes the guesswork out of it. So A/B testing, you basically create two slightly different versions of your promotion.
Okay.
We'll call them A and B.
Okay.
And you show each version to a part of your audience. And then you track what happens,
The results.
Exactly, like click-through rates, conversion rates, even just how much people are engaging with each version.
So you're basically doing a little experiment
Kind of.
to see which one actually performs better.
Yeah, out in the real world, using data to make those decisions.
Love that.
Yeah.
So you might find, for example, that, I don't know, maybe a smaller discount, but with a really strong emphasis on the benefits
Right.
actually does better than a huge discount with less explanation.
It happens all the time. It's not always about the biggest price cut.
So it's really about understanding what motivates your customers.
Absolutely. Not just assuming a bigger discount will always win. Now, the PDF also mentions data-driven personalization, which ties in perfectly with what we were just talking about with automation.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Can you expand on that a little?
So personalization, it's about creating this tailored experience, for each individual customer. It's like speaking directly to them,
Okay.
their needs, their interests, what they've done in the past.
Uh,
And automation is what makes it all possible, especially when you have a lot of customers. You can gather data on their preferences, like what they buy, even how they browse your website,
okay.
and then use that data to trigger personalized emails or maybe special offers or even just, suggest things they might like based on what they've shown interest in before.
That's so cool. It's like having a custom tailored experience for every single person who comes to your website.
Exactly. They feel seen and understood. So instead of just blasting everyone with the same message,
The generic stuff.
yeah, you're having this one-on-one conversation
It's like magic.
at scale. And that personalization, it can seriously increase like how much people engage with your brand and how loyal they are.
Makes sense.
When someone feels like you get them.
Like you actually care.
Right. They're way more likely to choose you over a competitor who's just offering those generic discounts.
Because they want a relationship, not just a transaction.
Exactly. It's about building that connection. So we've talked about A/B testing, personalization. What other tools are in this value communication toolbox? The PDF also mentions the power of telling compelling brand stories.
Oh, yeah. Storytelling. That's a big one. I love that.
So this is where we move beyond just listing features and benefits. It's about weaving a narrative around your brand.
Yeah.
Like, why does your business exist? What problems are you solving? What makes you different? What makes you you?
It's about connecting with people on a deeper level.
Yeah, making them feel like they're part of something bigger than just buying a product.
They're buying into your vision, your mission.
Exactly. And people are much more likely to support brands that, share their values, that have a story they can get behind. And the PDF gives some really great examples of how to bring that to life, like showcasing craftsmanship or commitment to, ethical sourcing.
Yeah.
Even just the passion and dedication that goes into your work.
It's about giving people a reason to choose you, but for reasons that go way beyond just the price tag.
Right. And it seems like both the PDF and the online course, they really complement each other here,
They totally do.
The PDF lays out the big picture, the framework, and then the course shows you how to make it all happen.
It's like the theory and the practice all in one.
Right. Because it's one thing to understand the idea of escaping the discount trap.
Right.
Then you got to figure out how to actually make it work in your business.
Yeah.
And that's where automation becomes such a game changer. It makes all these ideas we're talking about, personalization, targeted messaging, even storytelling, actionable. You can actually do it.
Manage it all.
And the course, Automation's Made Easy, it does a really good job of making all of this accessible.
I agree.
Even if you're new to this stuff or maybe feeling a little intimidated by the tech side of things.
Yeah, it can feel overwhelming sometimes.
The course really emphasizes starting simple, choosing the right tools, and then gradually scaling up as you get more comfortable.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's about freeing you up to focus on the things that you love. Like connecting with customers, creating new products, or maybe just taking a vacation.
Exactly. You deserve a break.
Okay, so we've talked about how automation can really help your marketing, but how does all of this tie into the bigger picture of creating a business that's successful and sustainable in the long run?
That's a great question. And honestly, I think it boils down to understanding that discounting, it's just not a sustainable long-term strategy. It might give you a little boost in the short term.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it devalues your brand. It eats away at your profit.
It's like that short-term gain, long-term pain scenario.
Exactly. But when you focus on communicating your value, using personalization and automation, you're creating something much more solid.
It's like you're building your business on a foundation of rock instead of sand.
Exactly. And you're building it on these genuine customer relationships.
Yeah.
You deeply understand your market, and you're able to offer something truly unique and valuable.
So you're set up to handle whatever challenges come your way.
Exactly. The market's always changing, right?
Yeah.
You're building a business that can weather the storm and come out even stronger.
Now, even with the best strategies in place, I'm sure there are challenges. Like, what are some things our listener should be mindful of as they start on this journey of escaping the discount trap?
That's a really good point. And I think Escape the Discount Trap does a great job of highlighting some of the common hurdles. One of the biggest ones is simply understanding your customers' needs and goals. It's so easy to assume we know what they want. But it's crucial to actually gather data, listen to their feedback, really understand their pain points, what they're trying to achieve.
So it's about going deeper than just those surface-level assumptions.
Exactly. The PDF gives some really great suggestions for how to do this. Think about your own personal experiences. Do your market research. Participate in, online discussions where your target audience hangs out. Even just having those direct conversations with your current customers.
Yeah, go ask them.
Yeah, those one-on-one interactions can be incredibly valuable. So be proactive in understanding your customers. Don't wait for them to come to you with their needs. Go out there and find out what they're thinking and feeling.
Okay, what other challenges might pop up along the way?
Well, another one is actually communicating your value effectively. It's not enough to just say your product or service is valuable, right?
Right.
You have to show it, demonstrate that value in a way that your audience will connect with.
So it's not just what you say, it's how you say it.
Exactly. The PDF talks about using meaningful data, crafting those clear, concise messages,
Mhm.
and really speaking directly to your audience's needs and interests.
You got to talk their language.
Right. And don't underestimate the power of real customer stories, weaving those into your messaging. It shows the human element, the passion behind what you do.
So even while we're talking about automation and all this data-driven stuff,
Mm.
we can't forget about that human connection.
Yeah.
That's what builds trust. That's what makes people feel good about doing business with you.
Absolutely. It's about relationships, not just transactions. And while both our sources are big fans of automation, implementing it effectively, that can have its own set of challenges. It's not always as easy as it sounds.
So Automations Made Easy does a great job of walking through the technical steps, but what are some of those other challenges to be prepared for?
One of the big ones is making sure your automation is actually working the way it's supposed to. It's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Right.
You've got to keep an eye on things.
Monitor everything.
Yeah, track the results, make adjustments along the way. It's a process.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And are there challenges with, getting your team on board with these new ways of doing things?
For sure. Automation might mean people have to learn new workflows, which can sometimes be a bit tricky. It's important to communicate clearly with your team. Let them know why you're making these changes, explain the benefits, offer training and support. And as the PDF points out, it's crucial that everyone's on the same page. If your sales team is constantly giving out discounts,
Right.
it can totally undermine what your marketing team is trying to do with value communication.
It all has to work together.
Exactly. It's about breaking down those silos. Everyone understands the big picture and how they fit in.
I love that. Okay, one final question before we move on. Both sources seem to emphasize this idea of continuous improvement, always adapting and evolving.
Yeah.
Why is that so crucial in the business world, especially these days when things are changing so fast?
That's a great question to wrap up this part of our conversation. The business world, it's like a constantly moving target.
Yeah.
Customer needs are changing, technology is changing, new trends are popping up all the time. You can't just stand still.
You've got to be ready to adapt.
Embrace that growth mindset. Be open to new ideas and always be experimenting. That's how you stay ahead of the curve.
So escaping the discount trap isn't just a one-time fix.
It's a journey.
It's an ongoing process of learning, adapting, and refining your approach.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And speaking of adapting and looking ahead, both sources hint at some pretty fascinating trends that could really change how businesses connect with customers in the future.
I'm excited to dive into that.
Me too, especially the potential of artificial intelligence, or AI.
Oh yeah, AI. Both sources touch on that.
Huh.
So, are you ready to explore what the future holds?
Absolutely. Let's talk about AI and how it could revolutionize marketing.
Okay, so we've talked about the discount trap. We've explored value communication. And now let's fast forward a bit. Let's talk future. You mentioned AI as a potential game changer.
Yeah, AI. It's definitely a hot topic right now, and for good reason.
Both sources seem to agree on that. So what's your take on how AI is going to shape the future of how businesses connect with their customers?
Well, AI is really fascinating, and it's evolving so quickly. It's already having a big impact in all sorts of fields, and marketing is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And what's exciting is that we're going beyond using AI for just basic stuff, like analyzing data or automating those simple tasks.
Right.
We're talking about AI that can really elevate the whole customer experience in ways we probably can't even fully imagine yet.
That sounds pretty amazing, but can you give our listener a clearer picture? What does this AI-powered marketing future actually look like?
Well, imagine marketing campaigns that practically run themselves, constantly optimizing in real time based on how customers are behaving, what's happening in the market, even external factors.
So it's like this super intelligent assistant working behind the scenes.
Exactly. Making sure your message is reaching the right people at the right time with the right offer, all automatically.
So AI would be making adjustments on the fly to the messaging, the timing, even the pricing. That's wild.
It sounds futuristic, but it's closer than you think.
Really?
Yeah, the PDF talks about dynamic pricing, which is a really interesting example.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Basically, prices would change in real time based on tons of factors, not just supply and demand,
Right.
Things like individual customer behavior, what competitors are doing, even things like the weather or what's happening in the news.
So instead of a fixed price, it could fluctuate.
Right.
Wow. What does that mean for businesses and customers?
The implications are huge. For businesses, it means potentially making more revenue because they're always charging that sweet spot price. And for customers, it could mean fairer pricing, maybe even getting a better deal if the AI decides that makes sense to win them over. But of course, businesses would have to be really upfront about how it works, you know?
Yeah, transparency is key.
Exactly, to build that trust with customers.
So AI could create a more personalized pricing experience, but wouldn't that be, like, insanely complex to manage for a business?
You're right, it would be. And that's what the power of AI really comes in. AI can handle that crazy complexity, analyzing those massive amounts of data and making lightning-fast decisions that humans just couldn't do.
Okay.
It can spot those patterns, predict trends, and change its approach based on the latest data all super fast at a scale we can't even comprehend.
That's incredible. So it's taking personalization to a whole new level.
For sure.
Do you see AI impacting other parts of marketing too?
Definitely. The PDF talks about how marketing automation itself is evolving.
Yeah.
We're moving beyond just those basic things like sending out mass emails or scheduling social media posts. The future of marketing automation is about creating those super personalized experiences across every single touch point.
Wow.
From the first time someone interacts with your brand to every interaction after that.
So it's about creating a consistent, seamless experience for the customer, no matter where they encounter your brand.
Exactly. And to get to that level of sophistication, you need AI and machine learning. The system has to be constantly learning from customer data, adapting, almost like anticipating what the customer needs.
That's amazing, like an intuitive guide for each customer.
Yeah, a personalized concierge service, but for everyone.
Mind-blowing to think how this technology could change everything. But I imagine there are also some challenges and ethical things we need to think about as AI becomes more powerful.
You're right, there are definitely important considerations. Like one of the big ones highlighted in the PDF is data privacy. If these AI systems are collecting and analyzing so much customer data, we need to make sure that data is handled responsibly and ethically.
It's got to be used the right way.
Transparency is key. Customers need to understand what's happening with their data and have control over their preferences.
It's about finding that sweet spot between personalization and privacy.
Right. Customers should feel like their info is being used to improve their experience, not take advantage of them. And as we embrace all this new technology, it's important to remember that human connection. You know, that genuine interaction that builds relationships.
We can't lose that.
Exactly. AI can automate tasks and personalize things, but it can't replace real human connection. It's about finding the right balance, using AI to enhance what we do, not to eliminate that human touch.
I love that. Because in the end, businesses are built on relationships, and relationships need empathy, understanding, authenticity, things that only humans can truly offer.
That's a great point. So as we navigate this exciting future with AI, we need to keep our values front and center, make sure technology is helping us be more human, not less.
Absolutely. That's such an important message.
And on that note, I'd like to leave our listener with this final thought. As marketing gets more complex and the landscape keeps changing, the businesses that will really succeed are the ones that stay true to their core values. You know, their commitment to serving their customers in a genuine way.
Yep.
It's about being authentic and letting that shine through in everything you do.
That's a great message to end on. It's not just about chasing the latest trends. It's about building something real and meaningful that connects with you and your customers.
I couldn't agree more. And remember, this is just the start of the conversation. As technology keeps evolving, we're going to have even more ways to connect with customers in personalized and meaningful ways.
That's really exciting.
It's a fantastic time to be in business. And the ones who embrace innovation while staying true to themselves, those are the businesses that will thrive.
Well, I think we've given our listener a lot to think about today.
I hope so.
We've gone from the discount trap to AI-powered marketing, explored all kinds of strategies and ideas along the way.
It's been a really interesting deep dive.
It really has. And for our listener, remember, this isn't just about theory. It's about taking action. Pick one thing we've talked about today and experiment with it. See what works for your business, for your customers.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to try new things, to learn, to adapt.
And keep that curiosity alive.
Absolutely.
That's the perfect call to action. Keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep building something amazing. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll be back next time with another fascinating topic and insightful conversation. Until then, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep creating. Thanks for tuning in to the Small Business Accelerator podcast.
We really hope today's strategies help you grow your business without breaking the bank.
Don't forget to check the show notes for links to resources we've handpicked for small business success.
If you found value in today's episode, it would make our day if you subscribed to the podcast and left us a review.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And stay tuned for our next episode. Next time, we'll reveal yet another game-changing strategy that's revolutionizing how small businesses on a shoestring budget take on giant corporations and accelerate their success.
Until then, keep accelerating your success.
This is Sarah Wilson.
And Roger Bryant, signing off.